Mexico's incoming president now insisting that Canada remain a part of NAFTA. That is according to Reuters. Reuters also reporting that AMLO and Trudeau spoke over the phone on Thursday and that AMLO said there is still time for a deal. Now, this news comes as the U.S. and Mexico are set to release the text of their two-way deal tonight. They're releasing that text because they so far have been unable to reach a compromise with Canada. But Reuters saying that AMLO believes that once he takes office, Canada should be eventually forced to come on board. Back over to you.
Ylan, thank you for the update. And I guess, guys, the significance of this would be it goes against, if it's true, it goes against President Trump's strategy to just go straight bilateral with Mexico to put the pressure on Canada to have to join some sort of trade deal. Exactly. If Mexico's insisting it's trilateral, it means they're not going to cut Canada out. Right.
And of course, Congress was somewhat resistant to that idea of just doing a Mexican deal, it seemed at first. And also there was the kind of maybe artificial timetable of the Mexican leadership shift, right? That was going to be easy to get ratified. So it definitely complicates.
To me, it illustrates this notion going back a few months that trade wars are easy to win. If you can't even get Canada, who's your one of your biggest, if not our biggest trading partner, on what should be a relatively straightforward agreement, if you can't even reach that with them, then what are the prospects for really kind of renegotiating something bigger with China?
Ylan, you mentioned there that AMLO had a phone call with Prime Minister Trudeau. How optimistic do you think that was, not just in terms of the tone between them, but the tone that they expect, as is possible, between the U.S. and Canada to make a deal?
Well, we don't have a lot more details about that phone call right now, Wilfred. But what I do want to point out is that Reuters is also reporting that AMLO said he will not reopen the negotiations between the U.S. and Mexico. So this is really about trying to give assurances to Canada that it won't be left out in the cold at the end of the day.
I would just say that as far as the market's concerned, Mike, none of this matters. I mean, this is a lot of politics, and it could really impact our diplomatic relationships with our best friends like Canada. But ultimately, this is not a market that is showing any worry about the breakup of NAFTA, is it?
It's not in a very specific way. You would see it in isolated place. Look, the U.S. auto stocks are awful. There's definitely Canada risk in those names. If you look at,
the fact that the president has threatened tariffs on autos coming in.
The rails that are exposed to the Mexican routes are badly underperforming, Kansas City Southern, right, versus the other ones. So in isolated pockets, yes, but in aggregate, no. People say the math doesn't get to that level of having to worry as much about it yet.
Ylan, if we sum up the week as a whole, the tone from President Trump towards Canada when he gave various comments throughout the week, but particularly that Wednesday night, I think it was, extended press conference, doesn't give much hope or much optimism between the U.S. and Canada at the moment.
I think that the important thing is, how does Trudeau feel about this, right? And he said his goal throughout this has been not to escalate any tension. So he's letting President Trump set that tone, sometimes positive, sometimes not. He doesn't want to make matters any worse.